I often wonder why aren't there more astronomers? While working here at UVU Planetarium as a planetarium operator, I came across all sort of people, and around 80% of them manifested an intense fascination with the stars. And somehow, as they grew up, that fascination didn't turn into a career. But for me, that fascination didn't die. For me, I kept it stored in some corner of my heart. I didn't know how strong it was. I just knew that it was too beautiful to let it go. I was born and raised in what have been called the capital astronomy of the world, as I was introduced, Chile. There, Chile has been called this capital astronomy of the world because it houses over 42% of the world astronomy infrastructure in telescopes, and by 2018 actually is going to hold 70% of all those infrastructures in telescopes. And so this amazing statistics, I never met one single astronomer growing up. Sorry, my mic is falling off. There you go. And, but that was the case with many children in Chile, that we didn't meet anybody that could inspire us. I was in high school when I first learned that there was people that really study the stars. And I learned this not because somebody came to me, but because of movies, of course. And the only problem is that these people in the movies, they were all blonde and blue-eyed and speaking this weird, strange language. So for me, they were as far as the stars themselves. My family was very poor, and our friends and circles didn't include any professionals, last of all scientists. But my parents, both of them, worked very, very hard to provide for my sisters and I. So when I had the privilege to obtain a higher education, I chose a career that will help me to contribute to our family well-being. Somebody said to me once that sometime is too early, but it's never too late. Life brought my family and I to America. My parents and sisters migrated to the United States maybe 20 years ago. I followed with them roughly 5 years after. And I think that I started here as many of the immigrants do. So I cleaned houses and I delivered newspapers at 3 in the morning, and I took care of other people's children. And I did all of this until I knew enough English to be able to apply for better paid jobs. But I was in America, and so I was in the line of dreams. It was my father, actually, who pushed me to start all over again. I had to swallow my pride, and I wasn't able to transfer my career from Chile, but I accepted his challenge and decided to start all over again. As it happened in life, when you are where you're supposed to be, once I decided that I want to come back to school, everything fell into place. So when one of my roommates was coming to UVU, she has some brochures I went through, and I fell in love with the openness and freshness that I found here at UVU. I moved to Utah, found a house, found a job, and soon after, I was registering for my first classes. It was awesome. It was challenging. I didn't know exactly what career to go into, so I decided to go into secondary education, into mathematics, since math have always made sense to me. But I remember the first time that I took an astronomy class. It was like this veil that covered my eyes just fell. I recognized it somehow. My childhood dream came up and made itself manifestly so strongly that I could not deny it. So from one career to another, I decided just like that to become an astrophysicist. Yeah, very logic jump. But that it was the case for me. I often wonder and marvel myself how this passion that I have for the stars found me so late in life. I mean, well, not that late, but come on. It has to wait until all that time passed. It had to wait until I had wrinkled eyes and gray hair and a little bit wider waist and this very strong accent to wake up. Of course, sometime it's too early, but for sure it's never too late, especially when we are talking about dreams. So changing my major to physics was extremely scary. I felt old, I felt out of place, and the memory that I had of my own insignificance when compared to the real astronomers was very acute. But you know, the sky is so open. The night sky is so wide, it's so limitless that there was nothing that I could do. I had to just keep going. I had to keep going. I had to keep going with my dream. I also, you know, I felt way too curvy for a field full of men. But oh well. And I swear to you, I do speak English, but in many of those classes, I could not understand one single word that it was being said. But you know, my professors and my classmates were very supportive of my dream, and they opened doors for me, so maybe I could go through those doors a little bit more easily. Sorry, that thing keeps falling down. One of those doors was a 2012 research experience for undergraduates, REU, at Brigham Young University, Department of Physics and Astronomy. There I was assigned to a research team that was looking to confirm the existence of exoplanets orbiting other stars. And these exoplanets were found by the Kepler mission. So this mission set up all these thousands of possible exoplanets. My team consisted of 7 members, and 6 of them were from BYU, and me from UVU and UVU. And so I remember the feelings that I had when I first saw one of those Kepler fields. It was amazing. I had this picture full of bright dots, 700 of them maybe. And our task consisted in looking through hundreds of those same pictures, tracking one single star and its possible planet. I thought to myself, come on, who is looking for the rest? Who is looking at the 699? So I decided that I was going to be that person. I decided that I was going to look at them. So I felt that it was a privilege to have the light of those stars that have traveled hundreds and hundreds of light years just to reach and knock off one of the electrons in our CCD cameras. Come on, people. So I stayed after hours and I looked through them. And that is how I found my pretty. There you see it on the screen behind me. My pretty is actually not one star, but it's a star system composed of 2 stars that orbit each other in around 8 hours or so. And They are of similar size, and they are called variable stars. So the American Association of Variable Stars Observers, to which I belong, defines a variable star as a star that changes in brightness over time. So, for example, what you see here is a light curve of my pretty. This graph is called a light curve graph. It has two axes. The vertical axis shows the change in brightness or change in magnitude, and the horizontal axis is talking about the pass of time measured in Julian dates. A regular star, as the companion stars together with my variable, are normal or quiet. They do change in brightness a little bit, but when you are in the presence of a variable star, it's pretty obvious, like that beautiful ones that you see right there on the graph. So there at Brigham Young University, there is a professor. This professor was not my advisor, Dr. Michael Joyner. Though he was not my advisor, he took the interest in me to guide me through my observations. Because of that, I went back to BYU for a second RU opportunity in the summer of 2013. And while I was there, I was thrilled, of course, of all the discoveries that I had made. Though one of the professors, not Dr. Joyner, told me not to get too excited because the discovery that I had made was not common. Well, I didn't listen to him, and I found a second star. That is the one that you have seen now on the background. I call that my crown jewel. This beautiful star is also a star system, and there you see both of them. They're pretty tiny, pretty dim, even compared to the rest of the stars. So when I went back to BYU in 2013, acting the same thing, I found 5 new stars. And because of this finding, oh, thank you. Whomever say woo. Yeah, I feel woo. Because of these discoveries, Dr. Joyner actually offered me, and actually I asked him for an independent research opportunity. And since the summer of 2014, I have been working with him at West Mountain Observatory. I still have a lot to do with my bright dots, my 7 bright dots. They still need a lot of information until they are finally recognized by the astronomy community, and they are finally registered in the general catalog of variable stars. Still, the fact that these 7 stars, which are billions of years old, myself, a twinkling time compares to them, and our path crosses. I feel amazed every time that I think of that. I feel an extremely joy of being alive and grateful to UVU for that opportunity. My goal is to share that joy, especially with children. You know what I want to tell them? I want to tell them, look at me. I'm very simple. I'm just a normal adult Hispanic woman with a strong accent. If I was able to make it, you for surely will too. And those are my graphs right there on the back. You see my beautiful variable stars. And you know, I ask myself again, how come there are not more astronomers? Well, maybe some people need dreams that are closer to them, that are more tangible. Or maybe their dreams have not wake up yet. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's too early, but it's never too late. Thank you.